Nebraska isn't flashy. It's not the state people brag about forming their LLC in. But here's what's interesting. It's stable, it's straightforward, and the filing fee is just $100. The part most people don't realize? Nebraska has a biennial reporting requirement, and depending on the county, there are a few nuances you'll want to understand before you file. So today, let's break it down properly. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to start an LLC in Nebraska in 2026, what it costs, how the compliance works, and whether this state makes sense for your business. Hey, I'm Bobby Casey, founder of Business Anywhere. I've helped thousands of founders, US-based entrepreneurs, digital nomads, expats, and non-US residents form LLCs remotely without getting tangled up in state-level red tape. And Nebraska is one of those states that looks simple on the surface, but you still want to do it right. All right, before we get into filings, let's zoom out for a second. An LLC, limited liability company, is designed to protect you. It creates a legal separation between your personal life and your business activities. If the business runs into debt or legal issues, your personal assets are generally shielded. From a tax standpoint, LLCs are flexible. A single-member LLC is taxed by default like a sole proprietorship. A multi-member LLC is taxed like a partnership. And later, if it makes sense, you can elect S-Corp taxation. So you get liability protection without corporate complexity. Now, let's talk Nebraska. The filing fee to form an LLC in Nebraska is $100 when you file your certificate of organization with the Nebraska Secretary of State. That's your upfront state cost. Nebraska doesn't have an annual report requirement like many states. Instead, it has a biennial report. That means you file every 2 years, not every year. Now, the filing rules and publication requirements can vary depending on the county where your LLC is located, which is something many founders overlook. So while it's not complicated, you do want to pay attention to those details. All right, so how do you actually form your Nebraska LLC? It starts with your name. Your LLC name must be distinguishable from other businesses registered in Nebraska, and it must include Limited Liability Company, LLC, at the end. So it can't just be Prairie Ventures, it needs to be Prairie Ventures, LLC. Before you commit, search the Nebraska Business Database to confirm availability. Nebraska also allows you to reserve a name if you're not ready to file yet, which can give you some breathing room while you finalize the rest of your setup. Once your name is locked in, let's move to your registered agent. Every Nebraska LLC must have a registered agent with a physical street address in Nebraska. No P.O. boxes. This is the person or company responsible for receiving legal documents and official notices on behalf of your LLC. If you live in Nebraska, you can act as your own registered agent, but your address becomes public record and you must be available during business hours. That's why many founders use a professional registered agent service. It keeps your home address private and ensures nothing important gets missed. Now, moving forward to the official filing, you'll submit your certificate of organization to the Nebraska Secretary of State. The filing fee is $100. Inside that filing, you'll provide your LLC name, registered agent information, designated office address, and management structure, whether the LLC is member managed or manager managed. Once approved, your LLC is legally active. Now, here's something Nebraska strongly expects but doesn't necessarily require you to file with the state: your operating agreement. This document outlines how your LLC will function internally. It defines ownership percentages, voting rights, how profits are distributed, and what happens if a member leaves the company. Even for a single-member LLC, having an operating agreement reinforces the legal separation between you and your business and makes you look far more credible to banks and partners. Next up, your EIN. Your employer identification number comes from the IRS and it's completely free. Think of it as your company's tax ID. You'll need it to open a business bank account, hire employees, and file federal taxes. If you're a U.S. resident with an SSN, you can apply online and receive it quickly. If you're a non-U.S. founder, the process is slightly different, but still very manageable. Now let's talk compliance, because this is where Nebraska differs from many other states. Instead of filing an annual report, Nebraska requires a biennial report. That means you file every 2 years to keep your business information updated with the state. The due date is based on your LLC's formation year. Missing that filing can cause your LLC to fall out of good standing, which can create issues with banking, contracts, and reinstatement fees. So while it's less frequent than annual reporting, it's still critical. Also, depending on your business activities and location, you may need additional licenses or tax registrations. Nebraska doesn't require a general statewide business license for every LLC, but certain industries absolutely require permits. If you're selling physical products, you'll likely need to register for sales tax with the Nebraska Department of Revenue. Finally, once your LLC is approved and you have your EIN, open a dedicated business bank account. This step is essential. If you mix personal and business funds, you risk weakening your liability protection. Banks will typically request your certificate of organization, EIN confirmation letter, operating agreement, and valid identification. If you're operating remotely or internationally, you'll also need a legitimate U.S. business address. So let's recap the full picture. To start an LLC in Nebraska, choose a unique name and confirm availability. Appoint a registered agent with a Nebraska street address, file your certificate of organization, and pay the $100 state fee. Create an operating agreement, obtain your EIN. Register for any required taxes or licenses, and file your biennial report every 2 years to stay compliant. That's the roadmap. Nebraska is stable. Moderate filing fee, less frequent reporting, straightforward structure. You can absolutely handle this on your own, but if you'd rather skip the paperwork and compliance tracking, we can help. At Business Anywhere, we'll form your Nebraska LLC for free. You just pay the $100 state fee, and we include your first year of registered agent service at no extra cost. We'll also help with your EIN and send reminders for your biennial report so nothing slips through the cracks. So I'm curious, are you forming in Nebraska because you live there, or are you comparing it with other Midwest states? Drop a comment and tell me what you're building. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.